Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you from Wilderness Lakes in Menifee, still here. Meant to be checking out tomorrow, but I've requested an extra night and I won't find out till tomorrow if I have one. So let's see what's been updating you on today. So most of you, if you've seen my Facebook page, you would have seen the condition of Animal's battery. It was disgusting. Thank you for everybody who left comments on how to fix it and all of that. My dad actually called me and gave me step-by-step instructions on how to clean it, and if you go look at that post further down, you'll see what it looked like after being cleaned. Now I just have to go in and find somebody to replace it, since AAA refused to replace it because it was so corroded. Yet just getting some water and just spraying most of that off cleaned it up beautifully. But then I got in there with the baking soda paste that my dad told me to make, and a toothbrush, and gently massaged everything with the toothbrush, then rinsed it all off, and it came up looking almost new. Still some corrosion on there, but nowhere near as bad as the before picture. So if you check out my Facebook page today, you will see the before and the after picture. But been getting lots of wildlife around here today too. Got this, I have no idea what these birds are called. I have got to figure it out because I've been searching, I've been Googling different descriptions for this one black bird and cannot find it, but it was this beautiful black bird. He was probably somewhere between 12 to 16 inches tall. He was sitting on the top of a fence, and he had this black crest that went this way. Most of the ones when I look up crest are going front to back. This one went sideways, and he was completely black, like black eyes, black beak, black feathers. He was black from head to toe. So I'm not exactly sure what type of bird that was, but it was really cool looking. And my phone was tucked away, so I couldn't even take it out, and I had nowhere I could pull over at the time to do that. And then saw this other one which looked, it reminded me of a kookaburra, but it was more slender and taller. So I got no idea what type of bird that was either. But it's been really, really cool. And then watching the geese running around with their chicks has been absolutely entertaining. I didn't get the camera going quick enough tonight, but there was actually one goose took an attack at another goose and chased it away from the family. It was very dramatic at the time. But anyway, what I wanted to talk to you tonight is that, while we're talking, just put down in the chat thing there where you're all from, so that I don't have to remember where everybody's from. But hi, everybody. So what I want to talk to you tonight is that when you're in an RV or anything where you've got to use a generator at some point in time or run things off battery, you need to know what your lighting and your appliances use as far as power goes. And I just spent a few minutes, I've still got some more to go, but I've just been replacing these. These are incandescent light bulbs. They get very, very warm, and they actually go into these coverings here. And I've been replacing them with, gotta pull it out here. Oops, didn't mean to get that close to the camera. With these little LED bulbs. So the problem with these ones is they get very, very hot, and you can see the size of them. You can see how fat they are in there. And when you look at the casing up there, these are almost like touching the plastic on each side of the casing when it's in there sideways. And then you get this little guy. He's LED, and I'll show you how. Nice bright white lights compared to the other ones. But so I've replaced so far 12 of them. I still have ones to do in the bathroom. I've got to do the one in the bathroom, the one by the shower, and the ones that are in the bedroom. But you've been replacing those. They're going to help me save on the power usage as well that's in the thing. Not only are they going to be great long term, and they're going to last a lot longer, they run a lot cooler and don't draw as much on the power. And the cool thing about an RV is at the moment my RV takes 50 amps, which I think, if I remember correctly, converts to 240 volts, I think. But it converts everything down to the 110 volt. And I've got this really cool book. It's called the RV book. It's kind of like my little Bible on RVs at the moment. And in here, you can't quite see it, but it tells you 120 volt AC ampage ratings. And it has in here like, oh jeepers, this is even dark in here. Like, for example, a curling iron, which I don't use, uses less than an amp. If you're using a washer or a dryer, it draws 14 to 16 amps. Now, why is this important? Well, this is very good need-to-know stuff, and we're going to go for a little wander, and I will show you. Although, because I'm hooked up to the 50, it won't show me. But it shows you things like your refrigerator, your microwave, all the different things that you normally have in an RV about how much amps you're drawing, and when you are on a generator or on battery, you need to know this. And we're going into the dark here. But see this cool little, hang on, I'm going to turn this around this way. Do this. But see this cool thing here? This says 50 amps marked EMS. I've got no idea what the EMS is. But it's got a load meter here. So when I'm not using 50 amps, if I'm plugged into 30, and last time I was here I was actually plugged into a 30, it shows me which appliances on the water heater, the refrigerator, the 2 AC units are powered, and it would show me here a number. And as long as that number didn't go over 30, we were okay on power. So it was actually quite interesting to turn something on and come back and see what the amperage was here, so that it gave me some idea. But you turn on those little lights that I was showing you that we replaced, and just to have one of those on, it was drawing 2 amps. And I've got 20 of those light bulbs to replace. So that's a lot. But fortunately, I have other lighting options in the house. So this is a little cool load meter. When I'm on 20 or 30 amps, I can actually push this button here and tell it which ones I want powered. So that's kind of cool. But when I'm on 50 amps, it just comes up like this. So that's one of the reasons that you need to know when you're in an RV or running on a generator or stuff like that, how many amperages you're drawing, and knowing what your max output is, or input. What the max is you've got coming into the RV compared to what you are using. It even gets into that list that I showed you. It gets into the TV, DVD players, stereos, like literally every appliance in the house, or your hair dryers, your curling irons, which of course, as you can see, I use them a lot. Not at all. But it's good to know these things, so that when and so even with my blender, when I'd have the blender on, I would run back there to see, and it was like 1, maybe 2 amps that it was pulling on that. So I was like, yes, I can still blend, and I can have the refrigerator running, and I had a light on at the time, so we were all good on the power usage. So knowing how much power you are drawing is very important when you are in an RV, and I'm learning more and more about that each time, and I kind of like learning something new every day. So today I have learned how to clean corrosion off a car battery. Tomorrow we're going to get the car battery changed, probably go to something like a Walmart and get them to switch it out, since AAA probably won't come back out here again, knowing how bad the battery looked to start with. And had I known how bad it was, because I literally lifted up the bonnet when the guy was there and went, "Oh, that doesn't look good, does it?" And he said like, "Yeah, no, we can't touch that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's too corroded." He said, "I'm scared we're going to break the terminal leads," and he says, and then we'll be liable for it. And I'm sort of like, so how do I get this replaced so I can run my car? But for some reason, Animal has been on very good behaviour today. But I can't really blame Animal. I mean, that battery's over 9 years old. We got it last replaced when we were living in Virginia, and we moved from Virginia 9 years ago in June. So that's a 10-year-old battery in there and a 15-year-old car. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But yeah. So even learning with the car, how much power does it take to turn the engine on, and making sure everything else is switched off, like lights and the AC and all of that sort of stuff is all switched off before you even attempt to turn the engine on to draw what little battery power it has to help it get going. So it's been quite an education learning about amperages and what things use, and I'm excited about these new lights because it means I'm going to have a brighter lights here and save some power. And I've replaced my outdoor light because my outdoor light burnt out, and I have now reduced the chance of fire from my light bulbs, because those light bulbs, those little ones, got really, really hot, and so I've been using them, very limited on the use of them. Thankfully, I have other lights around, like these mini fluorescent lights up here, and then I got these really cool little light here, this nice little bright light there. So I have been very limited use on the ones that are in the plastic cases, just because of the fact that the bulbs get so hot, and I don't want to risk. So now I've got the LED lights in there. They run a lot cooler. I've got less chance of fire catching on those. And of course, when you're in an RV, like when you're on a cruise ship, the biggest threat that you have in an RV and on a cruise ship is actually fire. So you have to be very conscious of what you're doing and very cautious, and because those are the two biggest threats. So that's me for today. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Hope you all had a super fantastic sparkling day. And guess what? Tomorrow is Friday. And I know some people are looking forward to the weekend and that. For me, it's another day. My only day that I have to worry about is Sunday because it's my off day, my day to recharge, relax, do something different. But who knows? So where will I be tomorrow night? I don't know, because I don't have anywhere booked for tomorrow night. Maybe I'll go boondocking for tomorrow night, and that will be another lesson, which is another good reason why I need to know my amperage, because boondocking, I've got generators that I'm running, and I've got battery power to use. I have to make sure my water tank is filled before I leave, make sure my black tank and my grey tanks are empty. Lots of prep before I go boondocking. If you don't know what boondocking is, it is going camping with no facilities available, so no hookups for the RV. You're just relying on the generator and the batteries that are in the RV and whatever you have in your water tank. That's it. So it's very limited. Like even shower usage would be limited on the amount of water you use, because you need to conserve the water, that sort of stuff as well. So until tomorrow, have a super fantastic sparkling evening.